Hey guys, it's Rebecca Oberstadt, and for those that saw my video a day or two ago, actually it's probably been 3 days by now, you know where this palette came from. This is the Aurora Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It did come from TJ Maxx, and this is the only one out of all of the things that I picked up with the money that my mom's wife gave me was touched, and I sanitized it while I was on camera, and then I have sprayed it down with alcohol a couple of times since, and you can see here on the palette where there is marks from me spraying it with alcohol. And I have wiped it down wet and dry to make sure that these are sanitary, because I'm kind of like OCD about that. So because I've never owned this palette or anything other than a brow gel from Anastasia, I wanted to go ahead and do finger swatches as well as 2 different brush swatches. I have this is a Moto Pro, it's a Royal & Langnickel Moto Pro highlighting brush. There is like some color on the bristles. It hasn't been washed in about a week. I've only used it twice since then, and I did color switch it. I will be using my JCat makeup brush cleaner. This is the BH Cosmetics number 18 brush. They do not sell this kit anymore, but this is a beautiful brush. I kind of wish I had bought 2 more of these packs because they come with a 16, a 17, and an 18 brush. They're all these nice, beautiful, fluffy, tapered dome brushes. I had 16, or this is 17 on the counter, and as you can see, I've washed it, but it's got a little bit of color left in the top, which is fine. But they're all shaped like this, the 16, the 17, and the 18. But this is meant for highlighting, and so I'm going to be using that as well. It's kind of more of a softer, less dense brush, whereas the Moto one is definitely more dense. If I want a very light, subtle highlight, I use this one. If I want something that you can definitely see, I use this one. I will be using my Always Off makeup removing cloth to remove swatches. This palette's been out for years. This is just new to me, but I wanted to see how it reacted on the skin, where it was, whether a finger swatch, a brush swatch, that kind of thing would be different or not. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with Eclipse. I'm gonna grab Luna, and I'm gonna grab Spectra, and hopefully I leave enough room to do all 6 on one arm. So there's Eclipse, there's Luna, and there's Spectra. Spectra is a beautiful shifting purple, and this is kind of like a peachy pink color, and this one just looks straight white. I'm gonna go ahead and build this up one more time, and these actually feel like they're wet. They felt that way when I first got it. It's felt that way after spraying it multiple times with alcohol. So there are those 3. I'm gonna go ahead and take swatches off my fingers, and I will swatch the other 3. Might need to make the swatches a little bit closer. So then I'm gonna go into Helia, Orion, and Lyra. Ooh, that's got a yellow shift to it. We're gonna have to go above the elbow on that one, but that's fine. I'm gonna be getting a shower here in about half an hour anyway, so I figured I would do a swatch video. It makes it easier to wash everything off. So there's a double swatch of Helia. It has a yellow, a gold, kind of a peach shift to it. I didn't see when I first swatched it. Orion is definitely just a blue, and then Lyra is a beautiful orange shade. And I'm going to be comparing these to the center shades from my little mini Zodiac palettes. So if you're curious as to some of these shades, if they are similar or not to that palette, I will be, because I'm curious myself. I know that those center shades can be used as highlights. And just as an example, I have one here. This is the Gemini palette. This one has a yellow highlight in it, and I'm thinking it's going to be similar to the Helia one. So I will be doing swatch comparisons with this as well. So now on to brush swatching. I'm going to go ahead and pick up Eclipse. Definitely goes on pretty well. And this is how I would kind of go into it if I was, to apply this to my face. Definitely a lot more subtle using the fluffier brush. So I think on the shades where people would claim that they're not wearable, that's what I would most likely do. And what this just does is it just kind of knocks off any excess color out of the bristles. I want to do this one with this brush. I think I'm going to switch it up and do like alternating brushes. So I've got quite a bit of product there. This is Luna. And for those that can't use things like this as highlights or don't want to, you can always use stuff like this as an eyeshadow. Oh, that's pretty, and it's fixing to storm pretty bad outside. So I don't know if I'll get outside pictures of this or not. So I tapped into that pretty good, and I've got some kickback, which I don't care for. There's some kickback on Eclipse too. The top of the brush just looks a little gray. So because this is a more purple shade and it's not quite as wearable, that's why I kind of wanted to try this. Hello? Well, judging by the outside of the palette, you can see there's product on it because it's all over the edge of the palette. So I know it's picking up something. And it's definitely flinging on the counter, which is actually kind of a pretty shade. Kind of a mix of some of the other colors. So I think if you use it has more of a pink shift. I think if you use a fluffier brush with some of these non-wearable colors, that you can get away with using them, because the shifting aspect of it, it's going to be like a light hint on your face, and then you'll get the sheen. So I'm going to pick up Helia with the denser brush. This is the one that has like the yellow and the gold in it. And see that, even going in with a denser brush, that one, it has a nice beautiful sheen, but it's not like hello, I'm yellow. So that's nice. Knowing me, I would probably build it up pretty good. I'm going into Orion now, which is a beautiful blue, and it's leaving like blue and silver sparkles on my arm. That's basically it. I'm gonna have to see what it shifts to in the light, because I'm not seeing even being like right on top of it. I just see like a hint of blue at the top, and then the rest of it just looks like silver and blue, itty bitty, tiny, minuscule particles of shimmer. I'm not seeing something like this where it's more of a sheen. This one here has like a hint of blue, and then you know, the glittery aspect. Well, and I wouldn't call it glitter because it's not. It doesn't look glittery. I will have to take some pictures up close and with flash. Now this next one I'm going to go ahead and do with both brushes again. It's actually a shade that I think I could pull off. None of these have like a really dark, deep base to them except for this one. So I'm going to go in with the denser brush first. Hello, Crumbly. And then the fluffier one after. And just for shits and grins, I'm going to pick up particles off the counter and do that again. I now have orange glitter all through here on my arm. That is pretty. It's definitely not as wearable with the Moto brush, but with the BH brush, it just gives a nice like peachy hue with some shimmer in it. So I think all in all, these are all, I mean, I would wear every one of these shades. I think depending on the brush that you use, depends on whether or not it's, you know, considered wearable for you. And hopefully if you were curious about this palette, or you never picked it up, or you wanted to, you know, you found it on sale like I did and you wanted to get it, if you were curious about it, that's why I do this, because I know I'm curious about some of these things. That's one reason why I take the time to record individual swatch videos. Plus I know people don't want to sit through an entire you know, a video of me using a product and then swatching it out in the video. So I think this was a very good use of $12. I will definitely be using this in some future looks. It is the end of the month right now for me when I'm recording this, so this most likely will go into next month's rotation. And as you can see, I am super OCD about having stuff on my palettes. I've always kind of been that way. I do not like things to be messy looking. When I see somebody's eyeshadow palette and there's like marks and stuff on the outsides of it, it drives me insane. So I always try and keep everything as clean and sanitary as possible. I will be swatching more palettes and stuff. If you're curious, or if you have questions, or you want me to compare it to something else that I have, I am more than happy to do that. I have a couple of other highlighters that I might compare these to. Like, I have a blue highlight, I have one that's just pink. So I know that I've got actual real, you know, highlights that I could compare these to as well, besides just the VH palettes. So hopefully this was helpful. I'm Rebecca Oberstadt. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.